Hi, we're the Beer to Beer Mafia, where we connect craft beer enthusiasts with local breweries that serve up unique and delicious beers. I'm Eric, the Educator.
I'm Josh, the Hitman.
I'm Chad, the Mad Scientist.
And I'm Lee, the Sandman.
Today, we're going to be talking about Bear Island Brewing Company here in Boise, Idaho. Stay tuned. So we're talking about Bear Island Brewing Company here in Boise, Idaho. The owners are Beth and Steve Batchel.
I'm not sure how
I may
to
be
pronounce
saying
their
it
last
wrong,
name.
but Beth and
Please
Steve,
forgive us.
yeah, they're vets.
Both in the Navy.
Yeah, both in the Navy.
From my understanding, I think Beth, when she was, stationed somewhere, they didn't have good beers, so she started brewing up her own beers to enjoy while she was stationed in the Navy somewhere. So I can't remember exactly where,
I
but
think it was
Iraq.
Fajula, Iraq.
Yeah. And
right
then
on.
when she got back, her and her husband Steve basically brewing it out of their 2-car garage. But when you say 2-car garage, you might think it's just home brew kit or whatever. No, this is like a legit 3-barrel system. Everything's clean. Everything. I mean, it's a legit system. It's just 3 barrels though.
It's a brewery.
It's a brewery
Straight up.
in their garage. Eventually, they want to get 10 barrels in their location, where off of or Fairview.
Fairview, yeah. Speaking of location, they're located right off of Fairview and Liberty in an old firehouse or fire station that was built back in the 80s. It's a really cool building. It's kind of tucked back behind a gas station, Shell gas station over there. And yeah, they just opened that last November. Was their kind of grand opening of their tap house. But they've been brewing beer for, I think, 4 years before they had opened that. So they've got some experience making that beer. So
You may be asking, Bear Island, where does that come from?
I was wondering that. Where does that name come from?
So I talked to Mike, a.k.a. Papa Bear.
who's Mike?
Mike is their CFO. He's the dad of Beth, I believe.
The dad of
I think-
Beth.
The father.
I think we should mention
Mike,
that this
the
is a
dad of-
family-owned brewery.
Yes, family owned.
So
Owned, operated, all that jazz.
So he's Papa Bear. He was basically pouring the beers when we went and visited.
Yep.
And he told me the story. It's also on their website. But the story basically goes is when he was taking his kids up camping up by Cascade on Cascade Lake or whatever. There's that Sugarloaf Island, Sugarloaf Mountain right there. And the kids were, scared when they were camping because they're like, Dad, what if the bears, are going to come get us or whatever. And to calm his kids down, I don't know how old his kids were, 18, 19, whatever. No, they were young. But
25.
but to help calm them down, he said, "Oh, don't worry about the bears because when the winter comes, the lake freezes and the bears all go out to the island or whatever. And then when the lake thaws in the springtime, the bears are stuck on the island. So it's Bear Island." And so the kids are like, "Oh, okay, we can camp now on the lake." And they were also having a cabin built at that time. But ever since, they called that island, which is Sugarloaf Island.
It's been renamed.
They
Bear Island.
renamed it to Bear Island, and then
Now,
that kind
a
of
brewery.
name stuck, and now it's a brewery.
My wife and I went there on the grand opening night, when they opened the tap house, and sounds like we got there at just about the right time because earlier on, there was literally a line wrapping around the building and into Shell gas
Oh, was that
station
opening?
parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
I heard it was
packed
mad.
house. Elbow room, standing room only, and their garage area was filled, which is a good sized,
Well, because they started brewing in 2014, they were actually distributing to a lot of local tap houses and whatnot, and they were bottling and canning some of their stuff. So people were, they had built a loyal following for 4 years, and when they kind of opened the tap house,
it was a big deal, folks.
It was a big deal. You had mentioned about that it's in an old firehouse, but it's not just that they renovated it and made it into a brewery. They carried the firehouse theme into the brewery.
Yep. Yeah, they even have a fire hydrant at the end of their tap. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I remember Lee went to the bathroom. He was one of the first to go to the bathroom. He's like, "You have to check out the bathroom."
Yes.
We're not going to tell you what's in the bathroom.
No.
So you got to go check it out. They didn't have food the night we were there.
Mm.
But Lee, you got to try some chocolates that they had, right?
Yeah. So they had it was like the lemon chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and it was $7. And so the guy also said that I guess they periodically they'll do trucks there. They have a Taco Tuesday truck that they do, and then there's some other trucks they do. I guess this in the future they're thinking about doing some deli foods.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you kind of glossed over the chocolate there. It was local chocolate.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was actually a local. I forget the name of the company, but it's a locally produced company, and they had lemon and some different types of chocolate. So it wasn't bad. It was like a bar chocolate.
When we were talking to Mike, he said they try to do as much local stuff, partnering with local vendors, and their potatoes are Idaho potatoes. They're locally sourced. They're all their hops and malts
Potatoes
are locally
in a
sourced
beer?
as much as they can.
In Idaho?
They do have an Idaho potato ale that
Nice.
we'll be doing a review on later. But also they're going to be doing, in the springtime, they're going to be doing a lavender-infused beer. They're going to be sourcing that from a local lavender farm. So they do a lot of local stuff. So that chocolate was a local chocolate.
Yes.
We didn't talk about the prices. The prices were pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
$5 to $6.
Yeah.
They had the 16 ounce and the 10 ounce, and then you could also. They didn't have flights, but you could do the half price on the 16 ounce beverage.
And you can get growlers filled there, right?
Yeah, and they sell growlers. You can buy them where they like $4 or something.
like the
glass growler,
jar.
and then you can
$4 growlers.
or you can bring in your own growler and have them filled for $12. I think it was for 32, and then 18 for 18.
Is
for
it
64.
always 12 for all
No,
beers,
they-
or vary in
they
price?
vary.
Okay.
They also had a
That sounds
specialty growler
typical.
there that for what was it?
Like a 64 ounce
Yeah. It was like a vacuum. What do they call that? A vacuum.
vacuum insulated,
Right.
Yeah,
like metal or
Yeah.
stainless steel growler.
Yeah, that was-
what was
it
it,
was
40, $50.
Yeah, I think they said
It
$50.
was nice growler. Nice white.
And their glassware was what I noticed much more sturdy in quality than a lot of places that had just simple pint glasses. They shopped around for some quality glasses. Their half pours look like to me whiskey glasses with a solid heavy glass bottom, which I thought was interesting for a place to go through that kind of effort just for the glassware.
Yeah. I've been to a number of breweries where you're afraid to breathe on the glass. It might break or whatever. It's like, is this dollar store glass?
Yeah, I think we might have had an episode or two where some glassware got crushed.
Lee wouldn't know nothing about that.
Nothing about that.
Hashtag City Cup.
What y'all talking about?
But speaking of prices, they didn't have a happy hour per se,
Right.
Yeah.
but they did do a discount because they have a connection to veterans.
Right,
Both
right.
the owners are veterans, but their building is an old firehouse.
Mhm.
If you're a veteran or a first responder, you get $1 off all pints anytime.
Which is super cool.
Which
I
is-
love
which is
how
awesome.
they really support our servicemen and women.
So I signed up for the military, so I get that $1 off. So
All right, going to
I
basic.
like
Going to basic.
Yeah.
All right, my man.
Cool.
Yeah,
Their hours are like 4 to 8 during the week,
Mhm.
and I think a little bit longer on the weekends.
Closing on Sunday.
So they're not open much, but man, they pack it in
Oh, yeah.
the hours they are open.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think every booth had somebody in, maybe off in the back.
Well, speaking of the seating, they had the bar, a pretty
Mhm.
long bar,
Yeah.
and then they had some seating behind the bar that was
Like bar height.
bar
seating.
height, but they had like kind of a booth location
Right.
off to the side.
Yeah. So what was cool was around the corner they had you had your 3 booths, and then also there's a wall there that has different bricks. It's like a brick wall, and basically it's people that have donated to Bear Island.
Yeah.
So if you donated so much money, then you got your own specialized brick on the wall itself.
Yeah, I was a little sad that I had seen a post about that on Facebook, but it was like the final post and it was too late. And I was like, oh, that would have been cool.
The
Bearded Beer
Mafia, a brick.
on
Oh,
the
yeah.
wall.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well.
it's
Next brewery, maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Next brewery.
But yeah, I mean, a pretty cool layout. The lighting in there was pretty chill.
The
Find
outs-
out yourself.
Well, the outside of the building too has also been renovated. They painted the big firehouse doors red. I mean,
It says like brew house number 6, I
Yeah.
think, on
Oh,
there.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably an homage. It was probably firehouse number 6, I'm guessing,
Right.
maybe.
it's a really cool
Well,
building
it is
inside
old.
and out.
Yeah.
And I don't usually talk about bike racks, but I mean, come on, the bike rack at this place.
I always talk about
Amazing.
bike racks.
I know.
You're
I know
not
you won't shut up about bike racks.
Could you tell me more about those bike racks?
No, it was basically a giant metal dog tag. Like
Yes.
the chain was
Yes.
was part of where you park your bike.
You bike your bike.
You
yeah.
bike your bike.
Yeah, it was I don't know who made it, but it was a custom piece.
Yeah, we
gotta
because
find
it had like
It was
the
awesome.
ball chain,
Oh, it was- yeah,
you
it was
know, from the
fantastic.
dog tag,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah,
dog
I
tags
love
that said Bear Island on them.
Yeah, I think
So they
you
looked a
posted a
lot-
pic, right, Chad?
Looked a lot
Yeah.
like this.
On our Instagram
If you want to see a picture of it, check it out on our Instagram page.
Yeah.
or their Facebook page.
Or
But
their-
while you're at it, check ours.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Check ours first,
Speaking
then
of
check
which,
yours
you guys,
Yeah, if you got to get up and pee.
yeah, here,
This was something they had at the bar. Read it off, Lee.
gone to pee, leave my beer alone, or you may be mauled by a bear. Don't mess with my beer.
So if you got to get up and check the bathroom, and you still got a beer, you know, put that on there. They got those for free.
Let's show them.
There you go.
Focus.
Yeah.
It's not focusing. All right, fail.
It might
Prop
not be
fail.
on autofocus. I think we've said all we can say. Now you just got to get down there and check it out for yourself and
Yeah.
let us know what you think.
Yeah,
Oh,
comment
yeah.
below and let us know what you think.
Check out that bathroom.
Hey guys, so we're going to talk about the Idaho Potato Ale. This is an IPA. It has an ABV of 6.7%. IBUs of 72, so it should be a little bit hoppy. This IPA style is proudly made with the addition of actual Idaho russet potatoes.
Nice.
Yes.
Gotta love those.
Welcome back.
Tell me.
Come on, man.
I guess we can take this off.
Oh, man.
Gone to pee.
Yeah.
Leave my beer alone.
All
All right, back to the beer.
Oh yeah. All right. So this is kind of what they say. We use them and specialty hops to make this brew unique, flavorful, and not overly bitter, but well balanced and drinkable. It's another great way to enjoy Idaho staple in a pint. All right, guys.
Nice.
So,
We should get the
Right,
we're
Bill.
excited about
These are Idaho potatoes.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to start us off, Josh?
We're just
We're
going to
doing it.
So while I was there,
Got
I
excited.
talked to Beth, and she was telling me about the Idaho ale, or no,
Potato.
Idaho potato ale.
Tighter.
Idaho.
Potato.
Anyways,
IPA.
she was telling
Idaho
me that
potato
while
ale.
she was stationed in Iraq, in Fagula,
Fajula?
Fajula,
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
she while she was there, she was trying to come up with recipes for brewing some stuff
Because they didn't have craft beer in Iraq.
because they didn't have good beer.
Oh.
there.
It's not a big scene there. From
Yes,
what I
there's not a
understand.
lot of breweries in Baghdad that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Anyways, while she was there, they ran out of starches, and so she was looking for a starch to put in her beer, and all they had were potatoes, and so that's why she brewed with potatoes. And she said it actually added a depth of flavor and richness to the beer. This beer isn't 100% potato. It is used. They do use barley, malted barley, but there is a unique flavor that the potatoes add.
Sweet. Well, I'm anxious to get into this and take a little sip. What about the color there, folks?
Ooh, it's
It's pretty dark.
dark orange.
Yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah.
Caramel.
Yeah, that's good. Good
Yeah,
call.
that's a good. Yep.
It seems
Dark
a little
caramel,
darker than
yeah.
traditional IPAs.
Yeah,
but
it's not too. It's not like hazy. It's
it's
not
not super
super clear
hazy. Yeah.
though either. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
condensation on the glass.
So good carbonation.
Yeah,
You know,
What kind of notes you guys getting?
not much.
Mm-mm.
I'm getting some hoppy bitterness, not just on the nose.
Yeah, just a tad.
Not almost
Not-
like a little bit of pininess, not
I don't smell
but
potato.
not too strong.
No.
Does
No.
potato smell?
How about hash
Yeah.
browns?
I mean, I could be holding a potato to my nose.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of scallop,
Scallop potatoes.
Scallop potatoes.
Yeah, a little bit of scallop.
Huh, I'm getting more tater toddy myself.
Some French fries.
Maybe a slight au gratin.
Oh, au gratin. That's fancy.
What other
I'm
kind of
That's
potato
fancy
cakes?
talk.
I mean, it smells like a traditional IPA. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing super unique about the potato coming through on the nose.
Right.
No, I'm ready to
Smells
drink
good.
it though. Yeah,
Yeah.
it smells
Yes.
good. There's nothing off-putting at all. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm ready to drink. Chad, you already drank half in one sip.
Well, he
Yeah,
poured light.
I'm the
He
beer
poured-
police.
He poured light. Remember?
Yeah.
So true story. Before they opened their brewing, their tap house, I bought a can of this before, and I was not a fan. I did not like it. But this is tasty.
And Chad, you mentioned earlier that it had a caramel color to it. I don't know if this is influencing my palate, but I'm even tasting, man, like even a little bit of malty, like you would like in this.
Yeah. No, I was
It's a
thinking the exact
maltier
same.
IPA.
I was
Not a
thinking,
heavy malt.
No,
I've had
no.
IPAs that are much more
you
malty.
can
than this.
definitely taste the hop on
Yeah,
there.
there's
But it's not. It's the hop flavor without the hop bitterness.
Yes.
there's a little bit of
I would
dryness.
say
It says it's a 72 IBU,
72, yeah.
but I think the sweetness of the malt kind of brings down some of the bitterness of the hops and really balances that out quite nicely.
I'm getting a late bitter after.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah,
But it's not
It
unpleasant.
lingers, but it's not strong. Not like a dank West Coast.
Well, to me, I
know.
think that bitterness really comes out at the end because it's dry.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a good description.
You can feel your mouth.
Yeah.
It's a little bit dry on the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was the ABVs on this?
6.7.
Yeah, so pretty middle of the
So that's a
road.
sessionable.
For me, not for Lee. He's already lit from that beer we had from the previous episode talking about the brewery.
I do. This is a great IPA, but if they didn't tell me that it was brewed with potatoes, I definitely would not
Yeah,
be able to
I
know
don't-
that this is
yeah.
potatoes.
I wouldn't have known either, but I think it's awesome
I think
that
it
they
is.
have
There's
they call it the potato ale. I mean,
Yeah.
this is Idaho.
There's
man.
another-
That's on their logo is
Idaho
the
potato ale.
there's another
shape of
brewery
the
that
shape.
does that
Woodland.
swaps out the P.
Woodland Empire,
What's that
the
beer?
city of trees. Swamp out the pea. Speaking of, I gotta go real quick.
I don't remember.
Idaho Pale Ale. Yeah, no, I know. what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
City of Trees, Idaho Pale Ale instead of India Pale Ale.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
here
that's
they're
what-
swapping out two words to get to the
Idaho.
IPA.
The
Yeah?
IPA.
That's
That's
They're
what
stepping
was.
it up a notch.
It's a great beer.
I think it's a fun.
Apparently,
Yeah.
because you're
The
done
name
almost.
is fun,
Yeah.
local, super local between Idaho and Potato,
And the
and it's
brewers,
really, and it's
they're
really-
local too,
they're
right?
local, born and raised, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
great.
about as local as you can get.
Yeah.
No, but you know what this beer reminds me of? I don't know why, but and maybe it's getting in my head, but is Woodland's Big Sticky, their red IPA. Because this is a darker, maltier IPA.
The color
Woodland is
very
also
comparable.
a maltier IPA.
You got to remember
Right.
the big sticky when we reviewed that.
this better. No, I've had the Big Sticky on many occasions.
Yeah.
And it's a good red IPA.
It is solid, yeah.
This is really good because it's, it's not too bitter. If you want a good introduction to an IPA, I think this is a good
Yes.
one.
You think
I think
so?
that's a great.
Because it's not overly bitter.
No.
I don't know. I taste it bitter, and I'm a
I don't. It's not overly. Yeah, there's
Overly.
bitter
There's
there,
Yeah.
but it's not overly bitter.
Yeah, I mean this isn't overpowering at all. I mean there's
Nah,
slight,
I think
slight,
we're all-
slight grapefruit.
I don't think any of us
right
were
now.
IPA drinkers when we started.
Not
drinking
originally.
beers.
I've
Yeah.
been converted.
IPAs
Yeah.
is a hard one to get into unless you're committed to drinking multiple IPAs until you find a good one and kind of
Yeah.
get used to that bitterness. But like my wife, every IPA she's tried, she's like, oh, wait, too bitter. I think she would like this one because this is a good balance: maltiness, sweetness, bitterness. It's all there. It's good.
Yeah, not bad. Good job, Bear Island.
First, for the Beer to Beer Mafia, we are tasting a
Josh,
pepper
A
infused.
pepper infused beer.
I'm curious to see how spicy this one is.
Mhm.
So is this one also? Is this a jalapeno?
This
or
is a
what pepper?
jalapeno beer. So
Okay.
I mean,
Not habanero.
Not habanero.
Okay.
Habanero.
yeah. So
You're making a mess again.
I know.
Just can't
Well,
keep it together.
You know, I really don't want
Man,
to screw up
one
this
fourth
quality
foam.
table.
Ooh, did we get you enough, Lee?
I dig it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
dig
yeah.
it.
All right, let's
All right.
cheers up
Cheers
a
to
front.
Beer Island.
cheers, Bear Island.
Bear Island.
Bear Island.
I said Beer Island.
You did.
Bear Island.
You did.
Bear
Me too.
Island.
Bear.
This one's actually really clear. Like I can see our lighting set up through it.
Yeah, a little bit of carbonation.
Yeah, not a lot. I poured it fast this time around. I got a better head than all y'all.
Yeah.
And I poured second.
I'm
I got
waiting for the
I got
hit.
it.
That is spicy on the
good.
nose.
I can
Wow.
smell the jalapeno.
Oh yeah.
right off the back.
Have you guys ever?
Yeah, it smells. It's jalapeno.
It smells.
It's
I
definitely.
can smell that jalapeno oil. I don't know if
Yeah.
they use the oil, if they use the whole
Yeah,
you
who
know,
knows?
jalapeno or the
That's good to know.
seeds.
I
or-
love the smell. Of
No.
this
Have
beer.
you guys ever
Mhm.
had
That's good.
jalapeno jelly?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's
yes.
what this reminds me of when I smell it. It's
Oh,
jalapeno
yeah.
jelly.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yep,
So you know,
yep,
you're
I
talking
can see
about
that.
if they use the oil or not. I don't know what they do particular with Bear Island brewing, but I know that a lot of the times when they put the jalapenos or peppers in the boil, it takes away from the flavor and the spiciness. You don't have that spicy kick. It infuses some of the flavor, but you don't have that spiciness. So this is added later on in the brewing process. I know that
Cool.
if it's got a kick.
If it's got a kick.
If
Well,
it's
this one has a great aroma. A great
Oh, it's. I can smell this all night.
jalapeno
Yeah.
aroma.
Yeah. Jalapeno.
This
Gelato.
would go really well with some Mexican food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a jalapeno
Like,
burger.
you know what it would
Oh,
go well with?
jalapeno.
Taco Tuesdays at Bear Island Brewing.
That's right.
Tony's
Oh.
Tamales
Taco Tuesday.
food
And-
truck is there on Tuesdays.
And just a little, side note. Tonight, when I went to go pick up the beers, I did sample this, and I had some of their kimchi bowl from Cut Bop. That was the food truck was there. So it was a spicy kimchi with this, and it actually paired really well
Nice.
together.
Yeah.
I'm going in.
I already did.
I already beat you
Me
to
too.
it. I went in. I went in hard.
Yeah.
This is
Ooh.
not mega spicy. It's
Not
not,
mega
like
spicy.
overwhelming spicy, which is
But
what
you
I
can-
want to. Even I love spicy foods. I'll go to Flying Pie, which is another local pizza place when they do their habanero pizza,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get their level 1 because you can get the heat. I've seen people crying from the level 1. I enjoy their pizza at the level 1 because you can still get the flavor of the habanero coming through on that. Same with this. You get a little bit of heat, but it's not overwhelming. You're getting the flavor with the right amount of spice.
Yeah, I get a lot of that flavor, like just a traditional malty kind of pale ale, flavor on right initially, first second or so, and then right at the end you get hit with that spiciness. And it's not a super spicy. It's just a nice little tingle spicy.
Yeah.
Very well balanced.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump right into the Carriage Ride Belgian Pumpkin Ale. Made a loving Imperial Belgian Ale with a nice autumn touch. What?
It's touched with autumn,
Yeah.
like leaves.
But it's not autumn.
Oh no, it's pumpkin.
Well,
But they don't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
We could have
okay.
recorded this in autumn, right? We're going to show it in June, probably. But anyways, it's based on like a grandma's pumpkin recipe or something like that, made with local pumpkins, which is
From
kind of
where?
interesting. From Bear Island Brewing Company.
No, where's the pumpkins from?
Local.
Wagner Farms.
Wagner.
Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner Farms.
All right,
Wagner
tell us about
Farms. Meridian, Idaho.
tell us about them their ABVs
So
and
this
IBUs.
ABVs here is 10.4, which is a great way to have. This is our
We
well,
gotta get lit.
lit fan.
This is not our first beer of the night.
Hold on. Lee and Chad going
Yeah,
light
yeah,
on
yeah,
their
yeah.
pours.
Hey.
Yeah,
We'll
but-
split this.
All right, we got
You want to
this.
split it?
Lee, you went light.
All right,
I did.
10.4
On purpose?
ABVs.
I don't think
It's
so.
probably a good idea, Lee.
Okay, so we
I
got.
don't think it's
And
a good idea.
the IBUs are coming in at here. Let's you want to do side by side?
Did Lee want some more?
I think
No,
Lee
you
wants
don't need any more.
Give me just a pinch.
I'll stop this.
I'll let it out.
Oh man, y'all.
Okay.
Oh,
Here.
man.
We got another beer after this. Another beer.
We got
after
stout.
this. Is that good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fine.
a hefty 7. It's not like an imperial or
No.
anything.
Chad's going light on purpose.
I'm going light.
Are you?
I'm going light.
Get Lisa.
Otherwise, I'll be drooling on the table.
We don't want the
I-
Sandman to be falling asleep.
Oh,
I vote for
wow. Okay.
All right.
That's
there we
gonna
go.
hurt.
There we
So-
go.
So this is a Belgian pumpkin. So
Pumpkin. Yeah.
it should have some sort of like, farmhouse, because the Belgian is the
Well, I
yeast,
don't know.
right?
Yeah.
Kind of that funky, flavor, but then also nice pumpkin
I
pie.
definitely smell the pump. The
So let's.
funky
What's the
Belgian.
color look like though? Don't jump into
Ooh,
the
oh.
odor yet. Come on now.
Amber.
Looks like pumpkin.
Well, it's
Yeah.
clearish.
No, yeah,
It's not
pretty
hazy.
clear. It's
It's
almost
It's
crystal.
pretty well, filtered.
I'd say it's
But it's a dark amber, or
Yeah.
excuse me, a light
Brown.
amber actually.
browny, light amber, light
Brown or
browny
red.
kind of color. Yeah.
Good,
It's almost-
good head there.
It's only slightly darker
So-
than the Idaho potato ale that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Um,
Not much darker.
not much darker. The
Pretty
head,
clear.
kind of went
Light.
light pretty quick. On
Yeah,
mine.
I
Mine is
So I'm definitely smelling the Belgian yeast.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
I'm getting a little bit of funkiness.
Little banana-y action going on.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah.
I smell the
yeah, a
banana.
little ripeness,
Mhm.
a little ripeness to it.
I'm getting better at this, man.
Mhm.
Usually I'm not picking up those
It
kinds
could
of things.
it could be just the name of it, but I am getting a little bit of like cinnamon, pumpkin. I mean, like super faint because that funkiness.
Yeah,
is
I'm
not
pretty
getting
strong.
I'm not getting any.
I haven't tasted it yet, but just the
Pumpkin,
smell.
but- Or the
Hmm.
banana.
Yeah.
I'm smelling.
I'm
I'm
ready
smelling whipped
to-
cream. I'm smelling, pie
Yeah.
crust. No, I'm
A
just
little
kidding.
bit of graham cracker action going on. Maybe
I'm smelling my grandma's pumpkin.
graham cracker in the
Is that
mouthfeel
crust
or
yeast
something.
I'm smelling?
Crusty yeast.
Okay, I'm going in. This is.
Wow.
Okay.
I was not expecting that.
One sip and you're blown away, or like shocked, or what?
Yeah.
What were you
From
expecting?
the
and
smell,
what
I
did you
was,
get?
I was expecting much more of a
Something
yeasty
else.
Belgian, and there's definitely that there.
Yeah,
I'm
for
not saying it's
sure.
not there; it's
It's a
there.
Belgian.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not expecting that pumpkin spice.
There's a sweetness to it.
that,
yeah,
that
like a
cinnamony
pumpkin pie.
nutmeg.
Yeah.
So they have a triple tater, which is their Belgian ale, which is kind of standard. Really, really tasty. We had it there. This is the pumpkin version of that.
Mhm.
I like this actually a lot better than their just normal Belgian.
I like their normal Belgian, but this adds a little bit of
Mhm.
depth to it. I think there's a mouthfeel to it. It's heavier than I would have expected, as far as I don't know.
Yeah, but the Belgian style can put some people off because it's got a funk to it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I love it.
I like it
I
as
do
well.
too. Yeah, I love it.
It's
But-
one of my
But
go-to.
this balances out that funk. You get that funk. You get the yeasty flavor and aroma, but you also get that kind of sweet, spicy from the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
This
it's
is
tasty. This might be considered a fall beer, but I could drink it all year long. I
Yeah,
don't care
yeah.
what season it is.
Yeah.
In fact, it sounds like they have, plenty of this available.
mhm. Well, it is. They say it's a seasonal. It's on their seasonal menu.
It's a lot sweeter than I was expecting. Like a lot
Yeah.
sweeter.
And it's a good thing.
Yeah,
'cause,
it's great.
like I'm
It's great.
drinking a bit of a pumpkin pie going on right
Yeah.
I've had a number of pumpkin just ales, not Belgian ales. I think the pumpkin pairs perfectly with the Belgian style.
here. Yeah.
Whereas just a traditional ale, I don't think it pairs as well.
And a lot of
Because
those,
I don't like the pumpkin ales.
a lot of those pumpkin beers get a little too spicy, and
Mhm.
which kind of takes away from that pumpkin-y flavor or whatever. This kind of, this is a well-rounded beer right here.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what other people think of this beer if they've had it before. If maybe we're just way off base or something, but I don't care
I
what
don't
you
think
call it. It tastes really good.
I think we're all in agreement.
I mean,
this is a tasty beer.
To me,
Yeah.
technically, you can never be off base on what you think about a beer.
Yeah, that's
If
a
you
fair statement.
if you
but
enjoy a
you're
beer-
going to be on the floor putting it down this
No,
fast. My
okay.
goodness.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
my.
But yeah, I mean, I may like a beer and somebody else may love a beer. I may love a beer and somebody else may not like a beer. I mean, it's all completely subjective.
Well,
You
for
know.
sure.
So, I'm not as concerned about what other people think
And-
about this.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
tastes evolve too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had beers that I liked 2 years ago that I don't like today.
I would
Yeah.
not have liked this a year ago.
Yeah.
Because when I first started getting into Belgians, I did not like Belgian beers. I thought it was too funky, the farmhouse kind of style, the saisons. I didn't like.
Yeah,
Now I like them a lot more.
It's more. I wouldn't put it in a farmhousey saison kind of classification.
I mean,
it's a
just-
yeasty.
I just mean
Yeasty
kind of that
malt
funky. I just
Yeah.
mean that kind of funk. You know? Not necessarily in the same class.
Yeah, not your. It's definitely it's a beer genre that stands on its own. That doesn't really blend where pales and IPAs and some other beer genres could blend together a little bit more. Where Belgians, it's
Oh
a
yeah,
Belgian
you know
yeast
it's
in there.
Belgian.
After you've had them a few times, you're like, yep, I can smell.
All right, welcome back. We are talking about the Chocolade Milk Stout from Bear Island Brewing. This is coming in at 7% ABVs and 22 IBUs.
Oh,
Welcome to the team, Sandman. He's here.
hey.
Oh my goodness!
Sandman is in the building.
Hey,
man.
hey, he's back in action, folks. We already finished the beer.
Yeah. That wasn't late.
That was great.
So
man.
what were your thoughts on the chocolate?
It was extra chocolatey. I think.
Yeah. Good notes.
Yeah.
Tastes like grandma's cake.
Yeah, it does.
All right, so this
Yeah.
chocolate that we're going to be tasting today is going to be it's a German chocolate milk stout. So a milk stout, interestingly enough, is basically brewed with lactose, which is not a non-fermentable sugar. So basically, it just adds an additional sweetness component or whatever.
Layer flavor.
A little flavor, a little sweetness, a little creaminess to a typical stout. So it's not going to be a typical stout. But on top of that, it's a German chocolate cake from Grandma's Cake Recipe.
Yes.
Kind of like the carriage ride, which is apparently Grandma's pumpkin recipe.
Yes.
Grandma's had a lot of influence. This is a
Grandma's
family
wild
business.
influence.
right?
Family
business.
business. Yep.
At
Yeah.
Bear Island.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which is cool.
Yeah, but this was actually this chocolate is a collaboration with the Growler guys in Meridian for the American Craft Beer Week.
Right on.
Yeah, it was their second anniversary party, so I guess they created it
Work
just
together.
for Growler guys, which is
Right on.
kind of a
You
tap
guys
house
know
or
anything
whatever.
about Growler, guys?
Oh yeah,
I've been there.
Been a couple
Oh, yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So it's basically a tap house.
Right on.
They fill growlers, mostly
They fill
local stuff.
growlers?
I know.
Are
Growler
you the
guys-
Growler guys
I
do?
know.
What? No, yeah.
Out of the box.
It's a great place. They have a good rotation. They rotate quickly,
And
likely because they have a lot of customers that enjoy their beer like us.
I'm pouring now.
He's ready to pour. So Growler guys, going back to them, I think they started out of Bend, Oregon, and opened up a couple of locations.
So
Is it just one or two here?
I only knew of the one.
Okay.
But according to Bear Island Brewing, their website, because it's a German chocolate cake stout, it should have subtle notes of coconut, vanilla, and chocolate. Not to influence your palate or anything, but
Oh man, you
That's
just
part of them,
influenced.
so.
I didn't try this when we visited the brewery, so
this is dark. This is a
Now, Eric, you're the educator, right? So educate me on this.
This is a better head than yours. Yes, you're
Yeah.
correct.
No.
Oh, okay. What?
I've lost all confidence.
now
So
a room.
I know,
Ran out of
I know
room.
porters and stouts are both dark.
Mhm.
Now, one of them you are not supposed to be able to see through.
That's a stout.
stout.
So stouts are actually roasted malts. So you get that kind of that roastiness.
This is on the edge.
You
of
get
that see-throughness.
so you get that kind of that burnt note, that dark note that you get from roasting the malt. Whereas a porter, you don't necessarily roast the malts, but it's definitely malt forward. So stouts is
So stouts are typically darker than porters.
darker than porters.
Right on.
So this would be a
And this
stout.
And this is-
so.
Firmly a stout.
Yeah, this is firmly a stout, and it says it's a milk stout, which means you should get a little bit sweeter than a normal stout, a little bit creamierness than a normal stout.
Creamierness.
A creamierness.
I'm getting chocolate. That's what I'm smelling.
Yeah.
You're onto the smell.
I'm on to the smell.
Well, I mean, there's not much to describe on
Yeah,
the,
I mean,
the color.
it's dark.
It's black.
it's solid.
You can't see nothing.
There's a light head. It's a creamy white head.
It's not overly carbonated. The head
I've
is
seen
gone
much
pretty quick.
on like a barrel aged stout or something. Much darker heads on those than what I'm seeing on this. This
Yeah.
is super light for a stout.
Yeah, there's a real light head on it.
It's not sticky or sugary or whatever if you roll it around in the glass.
Yeah, no, I'm getting that chocolate. I'm also getting a little bit of licorice as well.
I'm not getting that at all, Lee.
Just a little.
So
You
they
tripping.
say you're supposed to get some coconut in it. I'm not getting any coconut in the
smelling
roan.
coconut.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
But I've had,
I hate
like-
coconut.
I've had coconut stouts before where I can't smell or taste the coconuts. I'm curious if I'm going to be able to taste any coconut. I can't smell any coconut.
Can't smell, yeah. I agree.
So, that coconut is there, but it's super subtle.
I'm not.
I don't
not finding
taste it.
It's super subtle.
But yeah, definitely.
It's not too
the
milky
chocolate, the dark
either.
chocolate.
I've had some milk stouts that are like really creamy flavored.
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
not. This is
Yeah, I've had
think
milk
I'm
stouts
a
that are like almost they taste like they're a nitro or whatever. You know, kind of like creaminess.
Mhm.
This isn't that. It's creamy, but it's not overly.
I'm picking up on a little bit on that coconut.
I'm not.
Just a little bit.
Maybe
Mhm.
I gotta go in for.
Yeah, I'm not getting the coconut. I'm
Yeah.
getting that. You had that Hershey's cocoa, like the powder.
Mm-hmm. Some of that cocoa bitterness.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
that's
Very,
what-
very, the bitter dark chocolate.
I don't know what an average stout bitterness is. This is 22%, or excuse me, just 22 IBUs. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
typical.
It is.
Right?
There's
You know.
beers I always
Yeah.
go to. The old Rasputin. If you want some hoppy in your stout,
Mhm.
that has some hop to it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've had some 50 IBU.
There's some others I think
Stouts
old
before.
Rasputin might be
I'm picking
78.
up coffee.
Yeah,
this
this
is
is-
coffee.
This is
Coffee.
a smooth one. Some stouts I have though, like are kind of have a burnt roasty
Right.
flavor to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
This does not have that at all.
And I think that's where the milkiness comes in. It kind of
Yeah.
smooths that out.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that sweetness tones down that burnt, flavor that you typically get in some really roasty stouts.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, so we're basically on to the beer of the night. We've tried the Idaho Potato Ale, which was basically an IPA. We have the Fuse, which is a spiced pale ale. We had the Carriage Ride, which is an Imperial Belgian pumpkin ale. We have the Chocolat, the milk stout. So I guess I'll go first. To me, the Idaho Potato Ale was really tasty. I thought it was a really good IPA. I enjoyed it, but I think calling it Idaho Potato was a little bit of a, I don't want to say gimmick, but kind of an homage.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't call it a
It was
gimmick
it was
at
a
all.
solid IPA.
They put potatoes in it,
They put
You know?
potatoes. I didn't taste,
and that's
potatoes.
where the recipe came from. Do you really want to taste potatoes in the
Yeah.
beer, though?
Very good
Come
point.
on now.
Very
No.
good point. But I didn't taste potatoes.
No.
Good, solid IPA. I could enjoy it, anytime.
So that's your pick of the night.
No,
No.
the Fuse rushing me. The Fuse
Make your pick.
I could enjoy if I had the right food to pair it with. Otherwise, there's no way I could enjoy that beer. My 2 cents. So it was between the Carriage Ride Imperial Belgian Pumpkin and the Stout Chocolat, the milk stout. I am going to have to
The
go.
build up is just man.
You
I'm
guys
at
just-
the edge of my
pins and
seat
needles.
right here.
All right. To me, it was super close, but I'm going to actually go with the Belgian pumpkin Imperial Belgian Pumpkin, carriage ride. To
Yeah,
me,
nice.
the stout
It's quite a turnaround.
was really good.
It was great.
If you like stouts, this is a great stout. But it kind of just hit all the points of, okay, it's a good stout, it's creamy, it's enjoyable, whatever. But the Belgian pumpkin, to me, kind of redefined what Belgian ales can be. If you add just even an additional component of pumpkin, or who knows what else you could add to it
spin on that
to change what Belgian ales can be. To me, that's like when you start experimenting and changing a beer style to make it something else, that wins points. So the carriage ride Imperial Belgian Pumpkin is my vote of the night.
I enjoyed the IPA. I'd drink it again. I enjoyed the stout. I'd drink it again.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the spice beer much more than I thought I would. I'd drink it again and again. I love I said in the episode about the carriage ride that I love that beer, and I've bought many crowlers. But tonight, just to be quick about it, I'm going with spice because
What?
because you want to know why. So
yes, I do
this
want
is
to know
the
why.
episode that we lost in the abyss. But I'll tell you why. Because this is the first peppered or spiced beer. I don't like to use the term spiced. I like more for this genre per se. The spice or the pepper or the heat was not overwhelming and did not take away from the beer. Mm-hmm. And that's what I loved about it. It's the first one I had that I could say I'd drink a full pint. Like you said, paired with food, even better.
Yeah.
Without food, I'd still drink a whole pint. And I wouldn't say that about any other jalapeno or habanero or whatever beer that I'd have. So that's why I'm picking it.
Wow.
Because I think they really did a great job at the balance of it. You got the heat. It wasn't overwhelming. You could still taste the rest of the beer too.
Oh yeah,
But man,
it had a good
with
kick
the
at the
burger. Oh man, I'm hungry. I'm salivating right now.
All right,
next.
I really like the pumpkin beer. To me, it wasn't really overly pumpkin-y, but I could taste the nutmeg, the cinnamon, and the cloves.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed it. The chocolata, it was on point. That nice dark chocolate cocoa taste to it. Initially the smell for me anyway had a little bit of licorice, but the spice beer, the jalapeno, that was incredible. Just how it was well balanced. So my pick was the IPA, the Idaho Potato Ale, and
what?
And for me,
have
because
you ever picked an IPA before
tonight, I don't think I have.
Yeah, you're not an IPA guy.
Not normally, but what I liked about it was, it just had a nice overall balance. It was juicy. It was slightly sweet. Of course, the story about it, as far as how it came about I thought was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Chad, what's your opinion?
Tonight, I struggled because I liked all four beers. All four beers were fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks, Bear Island, for making this.
I know you're making my life rough.
Yeah,
yes.
Difficult, which is good. Which is good.
I like stouts, and they're good, but I don't really. I like more savory rather than sweet, and the stout was a little on the sweeter end, so that's why I got the little bit lower. Like Lee, I don't usually pick IPAs, but IPA that IPA was delicious. It was great. The one that tied with the IPA was the carriage ride, and I'm gonna have to say the number 11
out of 10.
The Fuse
was the Fuse. This one I do like a little bit spicier. This one the spice was subtle. I also have to say, when I drank the beer for the first time I ever had it, I paired it with a very spicy kimchi dish from Cup Bop. So I was already having the spicy with the spicy beer, and that combination. So I know you guys both talked about it, but pairing that spicy with food, it just took it to the next level.
So between the Idaho Pale Ale, we got one vote.
Yeah.
We got 2 votes for the Fuse, the
Which we don't
Pale
have video
Ale,
for.
and we have 1 vote for the Carriage Ride Imperial Belgian Pumpkin. on behalf of the Beer to Beer Mafia, don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We would really appreciate it. And if you are on Instagram, follow us on Instagram and follow us on Facebook as well. Thanks for watching. This is the Beer to Beer Mafia.
Cheers.
Cheers with the empty glasses.
I've got some agua.
The agua. Cheers.